welcome to Life by Design's Mompreneur interview. So we are super, super excited to be interviewing these amazing women. These women who are going out there, moms and entrepreneurs. They're really redefining what it's like to be a working mom in today's world. And so we're super, super excited to be able to have this platform for these ladies to go out and share their message with the world. And we're so thankful for all of the people who've participated in this contest. And so thank you all for participating, and we're super, super excited to welcome Carolyn to the interview. Woo!
Hi! This is so fun. Thank you so much.
Yay! We're super excited. Thank you so much for coming and being a part of this whole crazy thing, especially with COVID. It was insane to be a part of this with COVID. I know. This is like
I'm sure you guys are scrambling, but you guys have done an amazing job. Thank you so much. And I so appreciate you giving all the mompreneurs a chance to get out there and be visible and kind of share what they have and what they're doing.
Thank you. Yeah. And we were wanting to do this a lot earlier because we were going to do a whole big launch and we were going to have all the ladies there. You guys invite people. It was going to be this big to do. And then COVID happened. We were all like,
shift and adjust.
Yeah. On hold. Yeah. And that's real entrepreneurialism, right? You can figure your way around the roadblock. Yeah. So, well, why don't we start off by you just telling us a little about who you are and, you know, like what you do. Tell us about yourself.
Okay, well, you could probably guess I'm a mom. I have two kids. I've got a son who's 14 and a daughter who is 12. Very, very active kids. We've been told they do enough sports and activities for about 6 families. But I've been married for 18 years to the same incredible man. And I was originally a high school teacher. Well, my degrees are in phys ed and French. So I started teaching in elementary, and then I moved to middle school when they switched the system. And then I ended up at high school when we moved here. Things got rolling and I ended up in direct sales. And I've been a leader in direct sales for about 2 decades now. Gosh, that makes me feel old. But through that process, I ended up falling in love with the coaching piece of it and really helping other women build their businesses. So I ended up getting certified as a business coach, and now I work with any women who work from home, coaches, consultants, of course, people in network marketing and direct sales, really helping them to build businesses to the point of that 5-figure monthly flow, and yet keeping their life as a priority. So I love it. It's my passion. And it's been really great to be able to do it while keeping my family as the priority and all the things that are important to me in my life. So that's kind of it in a nutshell, I guess.
I love it. So good.
It's one of those things, like that's why it's amazing how we have leaders, an example of women that could really show you how you can really balance and harmonize entrepreneurship and having a family and also leading people. So thank you. So with that said, Ms. Carolyn, what inspired you to get started as an entrepreneur?
Well, to be totally honest, it was cash. Originally, we had about 6 figures. Yes. Between my husband and I, we had about 6 figures of student loan debts. We both have a couple degrees, and when we got married, it was not pretty on paper financially. And I loved my teaching career. It was something that I was very passionate about, loved being an influence for the teenagers and teaching phys ed and health, and then also French. So I loved it, but there was always more month than money. I'm sure some people can relate that are watching this. And so I needed a little something extra, but my head was going, how the heck am I going to do this? Because I was teaching at a high school where I was the only French teacher, which means I was teaching beginners, I was teaching college level, like APIB level. If you're in the US, you might recognize that. And I was teaching everybody in between. So not exaggerating, my marking load every night was like this. It was crazy. And I was thinking, how am I going to bring in some extra money? We need it. I want to have it, but how do I do it? So I ended up finding a direct sales company that was really flexible, didn't have any quotas or criteria. So I was like, oh, I'll just dabble with it, play with it, and see what happens. And I ended up loving it. And it ended up becoming something I really enjoyed. So it was kind of like my social life. So I did it with my teaching job because it felt like it was fun. I would go do that, and it was my social life outside of my teaching career. And then as I developed and advanced and went into leadership in it, like I said, I discovered that I loved coaching, and that was the piece that I really loved. So I did eventually quit my teaching job and went into being an entrepreneur as a coach, as well as running my own direct sales business. And so it is, I love helping women who are struggling. Like, there's so many women out there who have the idea of the business, they have the vision of where they want it to take, they understand how amazing entrepreneurship can be for them and what it can do for their families, but they're struggling getting the results while not feeling guilty about maybe leaving their family behind, or they're letting their fitness go, or they're just, it's that, when I'm here, I feel pulled here, and when I'm here, I feel pulled here. And I watch so many women go through that was what really made me passionate about the coaching. So that's really where I'm focusing my attention now.
That's so amazing. One of the things that one of my mentors always says is that if you want to find a really good coach, find somebody with a teacher's heart. And so it's great that, like, you're actually was originally a teacher, so there's no doubt that you have a teacher's heart.
Yeah, my whole family is full of teachers. I think I was one of the first who branched off and did something that wasn't in the classroom or being a principal, or so it's kind of fun.
That's so great. Yeah, I think it's definitely important, especially as an entrepreneur and who wants to lead other people, to have that aspect of really genuinely wanting to help people from a sense of, you were there, you knew the pain, and so you really want to genuinely help other people's lives. I think that is a key part in being like a really good teacher and a leader. So kind of to that point, what does being a mompreneur mean to you?
Well, I think it means freedom and endless possibilities in the area of being able to create finances that you want, create the time and the schedule, the calendar that you really want, being able to travel or relocate or just work your business from anywhere that you are. I also think it means safety in uncertain times, like being able to adapt your business when something happens like COVID on your terms, not being dependent on someone else. I think being a mompreneur, one of the biggest benefits to it too is that when you're a mompreneur, it means being surrounded by people who are continually wanting to grow. They're wanting to improve themselves. They're cheering you on. They're working at it. They're wanting to, like, move and change and make things different. Right. But I also think it means being a mompreneur, in all honesty, means struggling sometimes between that work and that life balance and feeling pulled or maybe having a little bit of guilt. And I also think it means being always seeking guidance to get where you want to go in a way that you keep your life as a priority. So that's what's really important to me, is for myself and as I'm coaching others, is that it's not just about business success, it's about life success. Because if you let your life go to get your business up and running, you're going to be looking back and trying to recover that. And then if you forget your business for a while because you're like, I'm all in on this in my life and I'm going to, forget this for a while, well, then you're jumping back here to recover, and it can become this nasty bounce back and forth where you never really feel like you're accomplishing what you want. So, being a mompreneur is about finding that balance, that peace between the two, that you can really be achieving what you want and living the way that you want to live.
Right. So good. So there's a lot, I know for sure there's a lot of dreamers, a lot of women are inspired to do something. And one of the hiccups is being a mom, I'm sure, Miss Carolyn, you've heard of that. And it's an entrepreneur field too. We've heard people that, I wish, but I have kids, I have this, I have that. So I think the next question would be something that would be inspiring, that if you could do it and gone through it, then they could also do it. They can also overcome it. So the question is, I'm sure there's a lot, a lot, but this is something that you'd like to share that you think is going to be valuable for whoever's watching and for the current mompreneurs and future mompreneurs. What is the biggest challenge you've had to face as a mompreneur?
I think it's that wanting to have as much time as possible with your kids, with your family, with making those life memories, whether it be traveling or just playing a ping pong game with your kids, or, wanting as much time as possible, but also knowing that what you're doing as an entrepreneur, what you're doing as a business owner, that's what's going to make the difference for your life, for your family, for your financial situation, for your ability to have the freedom to control your schedule. You're also, having that balance of wanting to be with them, but knowing that, for me, I know I'm the example that they're watching me because I am working from home. They're seeing my work ethic. So if I just let it slack, they see that, and I'm being their example. So that would probably be the biggest challenge, is that wanting to be with them all the time, but knowing that my success and the example that I'm setting is going to also be what's providing them the possibilities and the opportunities that I want to give them. But I also want to show them the work ethic and me getting back up and keeping going despite what happens. So I hope that makes sense, that example of being really successful and wanting to be with them as much as possible at the same time.
Awesome.
So good. And there's something that you mentioned in there that I'm going to sidetrack off with a little bit, was that you said that you're teaching your kids, right? And one of the things that I think is so powerful, I don't have any children. I mean, I consider my cat and dog children, but
Absolutely.
They're my fur babies.
Yeah.
So one of the things that inspires me about entrepreneurial mothers is that they really are changing the way that their children view how to live their lives, what is possible, right? Because a lot of times children grow up in homes where all you can do is the 9 to 5, the structure, the this, that, and it's never like, go follow, like we say, right, as a society, go follow your dreams. But do we actually mean that? No.
But make sure you've got a stable job that's going to pay you exactly this.
Your dreams is a stable job.
Right.
With a degree and a relationship and children.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. And you have to have this and this and it. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Designed by others. You have, but go live dreams.
It's your dream though, but
yeah.
we told you to dream it.
Right.
Yeah. But you really are teaching your children that the world, the sky is limitless, so that they can really be and do whatever it is that they want. And so have you seen a difference in your own children from you being an entrepreneur and teaching them those skills, even if it's subconsciously,
I think so. I mean, I have been an entrepreneur since they were both born, but also with this shift that I've done recently, moving towards the coaching business, it's been different. Whereas before I was really focused in the direct sales world, and now they're hearing more conversations one-on-one. They're hearing me coach other people when they're around, especially with COVID and the fact they're home, so they have to listen to my conversations. But that influence and really being in my space when I'm coaching adults on being really successful for themselves, standing up for who they be and what they want to achieve, building that confidence, finding the balance, and getting great time management and strategy and productivity. I'm seeing them catch on to stuff, and it might be because they're a little bit older, or it might be because they are listening more now to the conversations I'm having with others, not just me telling them, because of course I've been doing that since they were born. Right? But I hear it in the way that they talk now. I hear it in the way that, if they have a disappointment in a sport or an academic area or anything, that they're like, it's okay, I learned from it. I think what I'll do next time is, and I'm just like, yes, in the background, I'm like, it's working. So absolutely, I am noticing a difference. The more and more that they get exposed to me as an entrepreneur and the work that I'm doing as a coach, the stronger I think they're getting in themselves and their confidence and their belief and their ability to say, hey, I messed up, it's okay. And know that they're all right.
I love it.
So good. And so to loop back to the biggest challenge that you said that you have is that you want to be able to spend all of that time with them. So how have you overcome, and what have you learned from that experience of struggling with wanting to spend every waking moment making those amazing memories?
Do we have an hour? I would say I've learned to become a great strategist. I have learned really good time management skills and how to be productive in a really short amount of time in some cases. I have learned how to ask for help and how to get help without sacrificing me, my time, or my resources necessarily to get it, but just learning how to ask properly. And I've learned that these are all skills that are transferable to other people, which is great. I've also learned that following other people's recipes for success doesn't always mean success. Often following other people's recipes for success is often a route to not feeling good about yourself anymore, feeling like you must be lacking, feeling, depleting your confidence. So I've learned that too, that it is really important to be designing your path for who you are and for what your skills, your strengths, your desires of how to spend your time, all of that it's really important to design not only your life, but your business flow on who you be. I've got like the words be and achieve behind me, because that's I believe success comes from, is when you get really in touch with who you be and you're clear on what you want to achieve. That's when you're going to find success. And when you can find somebody to help walk you through that and help you formulate that plan to move in a way that's reflective of who you are, not just some recipe or formula for success that somebody else did.
So good.
And I'm glad that you talk about the be, right? Because I truly believe that, okay, I'm going to talk a little woo-woo.
Love it. I love it.
Because I really truly believe that we have our own unique, like literally, like I know we talk about uniqueness. No, there's really something unique about you, about everyone, whoever's watching this, listening, that could only really be delivered by you uniquely and very effectively. And really being B really stands out, because I think we're also in a society that want to be like everyone else. But in authenticity and reality of things, us is perfect the way we are, and the hearts, the desire, the qualities that we have is really more than enough. So what's great, I'm just gonna like Google on that for a little bit, but thank you for bringing that up, that the B is the B, to be is B. So thank you for emphasizing that it's not always following a certain thing, but it's really finding a unique way to really deliver what you're trying to deliver.
Digging into who you are.
Right. So I guess with that said, especially now that with the moms, with the kids growing up, and I'm glad that you brought up, like, kids really do see moms, see you. So the next question is, why is it important to make sure other mompreneurs, other mommypreneurs to be, that they can follow their dreams?
Well, I may rock the boat a little bit on this one.
Go for it.
Go for it, right?
Yeah.
I hope I don't upset too many people, but one of the things I've been coaching for almost 2 decades now, and now I'm specializing in working with just women. And one of the reasons why is because I've noticed that men, when they make the decision to put time and resources and energy and maybe money into growing and developing their business or their career, it's admired, it's applauded, it's usually encouraged. But with the women, in the same sense, when they put money, time, resources, energy into building a business, oftentimes it can come along with a lot of guilt and a questioning of priorities. And a lot of times that it's not even from other people, it can be from within, where it's like, well, if I do this, I'll be taking time away from my kids. And if I, put this money in, maybe we won't be able to go on vacation. And it's that whole guilt or that feeling of I have this passion for this business. I want to be a mompreneur, but what is it going to do to everybody else? Whereas men tend to walk into it saying, oh, this is going to be for the betterment of my family. I am going to bring in more finances. I am going to grow. I'm going to get better. We're going to be advancing ourselves. And there's that difference that I've seen personally anyway from men and women, where women carry the guilt. And I want to tell the other moms out there who are either considering mompreneurship or are struggling through it right now or on the edge of a next breakthrough, that it doesn't have to come with a whole bunch of sacrifice. It doesn't have to come with a bunch of guilt. If you have the steps and the path to flow through in a way that's reflective of who you be, like we were talking about, and it's your strengths and your talents and your desires and the things you really enjoy, and you set it up in a way that reflects who you are and what you really want to achieve, not just in your business, but in your whole life, you don't have to do the sacrifice and you don't have to do the guilt.
Right.
So
good. And so it's such a good point too. And actually, I was awakening. Like I was like, I never actually thought about that. I never actually thought about the difference about in that situation. A lot of women they start businesses and they question, what am I taking away from by doing this? It's constantly, what am I taking away from by doing this? Instead of it being that transition of thought, how am I adding to my life by doing this? And so it's so good that you're a coach and you're actually teaching these women how to train their thoughts to be in a better space and look at entrepreneurship as more of an add-on versus a taking or a sacrifice. I love that. It's so good. And so kind of on the point of like be, right? Like be you, who you be, what would you say peak performance means to you? Like in the sense of like being, right?
Yeah, it peak performance to me is when you get to that point of knowing who you be to your core, and then also knowing what you really want to achieve. And again, not just in business, but in your faith, in your friends, in your fun, in your family, in your fitness, in all the areas of your life, knowing what you want to achieve, and then living every day in a way that reflects that with conviction, with confidence, with joy, like actually enjoying the process and getting the results that you really want. To me, that's peak performance. So that you're enjoying it, you're getting results, and it's reflective of all the pieces of your life that are important to you.
I love it. I know we talk about the be and this, it really, and I love how, because we're now moving forward to Life by Design 2.0, right? And it's really truly designing to be life by design. So just imagine what you just said and living that life, because you're in that being, that peak of you. Oh my gosh, what a life, right? And I know most of us, I won't say all, I'm sure most of us desire that kind of life where every day you just feel successful, fulfilled, and you're growing. So I think that's a fantastic mindset and aiming every day. So thank you for that, because I can so relate with everything you said. I had to physically approve. Oh my gosh, like I ate a really, really good dessert, yes, on point.
We're kind of foodies.
I love it.
And I'm glad that we talked about, being the mompreneurs and a little bit of the challenge and what peak is. So we would like to know, of course, many viewers out there want to listen. What is one piece of advice you'd like to give a mompreneur that's struggling right now?
Do my boot camp? No, I would say get a coach. And what I mean by that is not another educational course where you're sitting back and watching somebody else's reflection of what they think you need. It's not about just more advice. It's not about getting more ideas. It's getting someone that you can actually have a conversation with, so that as you are hitting struggles, as you're hitting new challenges, as you're, brainstorming new strategies, you have an outside source who you can actually talk with to give you the bird's eye view. Because sometimes when we're deep in it, I know it happens for me all the time, I'm not seeing it as clearly as like my coach would say to me, well, how about this? And I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't I see that? So, getting a coach to be able to actually walk you through and work in a way that sets you up for the framework that's going to fit what you're wanting. Because when we're talking mompreneurs, for example, you may have one mompreneur who, she's really passionate right now about homeschooling her kids, and she wants to put most of her time and energy into that. And then we've got another mompreneur who is super passionate about the work that she's doing with her clients, and she's wanting to put her time and energy into that. Well, their paths are going to look really different, but they can both be incredibly successful. But if you're following somebody else's ideas or recipes or formula, it's not necessarily set up for that. So when you have coaching, whether it be group coaching, individual coaching, but actually someplace that you can have a conversation of somebody who's also achieved what you want to achieve. So like I talk in my boot camp about 5-figure flow. So monthly 5-figure flow. It's for the people who want to get to the 6-figure income. Or I also personalize it. I just call it 5-figure flow, because for some people, it's just they want to have 5-figure in sales. And the other people are 5 figures. I want that in my bank account every month, after all my expenses, after all my pieces. So it's about that. That would be my my piece of advice for mompreneurs is get a coach. Every time I have either changed my coach or added a coach or done something, I've always, for 2 decades, every single time I've had a new coach, I have seen a catapult in my results and in my peace of mind. So that would be my number one piece of advice.
So good. So important. The funny thing about coaches is that, sports have coaches. When you want to get in shape, you get a personal trainer. If you want to get right with God, you get a pastor. Like you go, like start attending a church. If you wanted to if you wanted to learn to drive, you get a driving instructor. If you wanted to learn any new skill, you hire a teacher, right? You pay colleges. We pay colleges to teach us information. They coach us, right? And however, when the entrepreneurs is like, oh, I don't need a coach, I can do this myself.
Oh, good. I think we need it more than anyone else.
Right, exactly. And it's like we live our lives constantly being coached, and so any area of your life that you want to grow in, like I said, fitness, health, relationships, business, every area of your life that you want to grow in, you should have a coach. So it's so important. I can't even stress how important it is to have a coach. And partly also because it's the fact that what you said in the beginning, it's somebody who can look at your problems from an outside view. Like you, a lot of times we live in our own little bubble and we're unaware, and we're trying to shove our triangle into the square peg because we forgot to look down and see that we dropped the piece that we actually need. Like it's there, we're just not looking at it. And so you as a coach are able to see, hey, you dropped that, like it's really easy, I can help you. And so it's so important, and I'm so thankful that you're out there and you're doing that for these women and even men. And so it's just so great. And so if you were to say, if there's a quote or a phrase or something that you try to live your life by, what would that be?
Imperfect progress is always going to be procrastination. Imperfect progress. And this is one that I have to say to myself all the time, because I like having everything well set up, and I like, approaching things prepared, and I like presenting things really professionally. But one thing I live by, this is for me as well as people that I work with, is that imperfect progress is always going to be procrastination. And procrastination might look like, well, I just have to learn this first, or I just have to organize this first, or when this happens, then I'll do it. And we keep pushing things out. That's all procrastination. And so imperfect progress is about, taking those steps no matter what, whether you feel ready or not sometimes, because you're either going to learn or you're going to love the results. So when you take the steps, you learn or you love the results. You can't lose. But if you don't take the steps, well, you're still stuck then. You're still in the exact same place you were before. So that would probably be my favorite quote or saying that I try and live by as much as I can, and always working on it, of course, but that imperfect progress is always going to beat out procrastination.
I love it. No, I'm glad you put it in that way, because I know people are familiar with the word procrastination, but putting a positive twist and also including the word imperfection, because I know, I'm sure you heard the saying, like, better done is better than perfect. So you're kind of like, okay, I see it, but yeah, imperfect progress, that means you're still constantly moving forward. And I love how you say you really have two choices, and there's both still wonderful result. Either you learn or you love what happens with it. So that is fantastic. I hope you guys got that to live by, add it to your quote, or just like really maybe embrace it, because that's wonderful. I just want to say thank you, because I remember you invited us to your couple months ago when you had your speaking. That was wonderful. I enjoyed my time. I learned, took notes, and I wish we could see you physically again, but I don't know when that's gonna be with this whole COVID thing. I don't know. But we would love to know, what project you're currently working on, and of course, how can us, our viewers, our listeners, can reach you and connect with you.
Oh, thanks for asking. Well, my boot camp is really where I am pouring all my energy into it right now, because it's where I give away my entire framework for getting women to 5-figure monthly flow with freedom. So 5-figure monthly flow with keeping their life as the priority. So not just business. We're not just coaching business. We're not just coaching life. We're coaching like you as your entire being. So I'm putting pretty much all my energy right now into that boot camp, and just making sure that I'm giving more away in the 5 days that I spend with people than they're getting for paid courses. That's like my goal. And so I'll be giving away my full framework during the boot camp, as well as a bunch of prizes, and it's a ton of fun. We have a great time during the boot camp. So that is coming up soon. The website for that is www.breakthroughwithbalance.com, and then / I think it is the one where the top goes to the left, right. Top goes to the right, and then boot camp. So it's breakthroughwithbalance.com / boot camp. And that's just the info page. So it doesn't commit anybody to anything, but they can go and look and check it out and see if it's a fit. And it's got a layout of the 5 days and what I teach and what exactly they're going to walk away with it from. And my goal really is that at the end of the boot camp, that they are walking away with more confidence, more clarity, more just knowing how to move forward in a way that is personalized for them, saying, I've got this. I can absolutely do this now. So that is my goal in the boot camp. And I do talk a lot about balance. You can see my little scale behind me. And balance to me is not work here and life here. It's a mix. It's that whole, all the pieces of your life working together, but there is strategies and there's tools and there's methods to make it happen and make it flow. So that's what I'm doing in a boot camp.
That's so awesome. Thank you. And to everybody who's watching, wherever you're watching right now, there will be links. So and we made sure to check up. So they're good. So no matter which direction, we got you. We got all the links, so you can make sure to go to her boot camp. It's going to be amazing. She is a phenomenal speaker, a huge heart. She has a huge heart. One of my favorite people. She's amazing, absolutely amazing. And so, Carolyn, let me ask you just one more question. If there is just one more piece of advice that you would give to anybody watching, whether they're a mompreneur or not, whether they're an entrepreneur or not, just anybody who's watching out there today, what is one last piece of advice that you want to give the world?
Oh, great question. I would say, take some time for you. If you're watching this, obviously you have like a desire for growth. You've got a desire to do something a little more with your life, or to get back more in control of your life. So take some time for you and figure out what that is. What does it look like for you? Where would you love to be in a year from now? And then decide one step that you can do to get there. Just one. Like if we look at the whole path, it gets so overwhelming, right? And that's why I was talking about how coaching can be so helpful. But take some time for you. If you're wanting that growth, if you're wanting that improvement in your life, sit down, get quiet with yourself, even if it means staying up late or getting up early, and really figure out where you'd love to be maybe a year from now. And then what's one step you can take to move towards it now? Just one. So that you can feel the win from that one, just one. And that way, when you get that one, it'll build your confidence a little bit. And then you look at what's one more step I can take. And then you do that, and it'll build your confidence a little bit more. And that will give you belief, motivation, like all the things we're trying to dig out of ourselves all the time. Giving yourself one little win at a time will make a huge difference.
So good. Well, thank you so much, Carolyn. Thank you. And thank you for all of the people who are watching or listening to this. So many golden nuggets. Yes. Rewatch this, take notes, reach out to her, and definitely implement all this information, because this is just gold. This whole interview with her was just gold. So make sure to use it, and thank you all for participating. And thank you. We're super excited for the next contest and for bringing more awareness to different sections of business, and really allowing San Diego and global entrepreneurs to really have a chance to be in their spotlight. It's not just about these big name, big people. It's about the people who are in the trenches every single day and what they're learning every single day that they can teach people who are also in the trenches. Right. And so we're super, super excited, and we're so thankful to have this platform to be able to, for you guys to utilize. So once again, thank you guys so much for coming on and watching this episode and listening to this episode, participating. Thank you again, Carolyn, for coming on.
Oh, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. I really appreciate everything you're doing.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Bye.